Donald Trump fought. He didn't fight the good fight, that's for sure. But he fought to try to not be sentenced today. However, the sentence happened. Donald Trump has been sentenced to an unconditional discharge. Now, what does that mean? We're going to dive into that. Of course, your man Diamond K in here. The Diamond K Show on firebroadcasting.com, thediamondkshow.com. Donald Trump is now officially a convicted felon. Yes, he is officially a convicted felon. Donald Trump will be the first president of the United States with a felony conviction. Now, that doesn't mean that he is the only criminal to occupy the White House. He is definitely not the only one of those. But he fought and he tried to talk to the Supreme Court. He tried everything he could to avoid this. But I don't know what the big deal was for him to avoid. He has what they call unconditional discharge. So for those that know, Marilyn Mosby got more punishment for what they convicted her of here in Baltimore than Donald Trump did for the multiple scores of felonies that he got. So today, Justice Juan Merchan, he's the judge who presided over the trial in this New York State case. He's sentenced. I don't even know why we're even using the word sentence, because there's no punishment. Sentence him to unconditional discharge for all 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. They accused Marilyn Mosby of stuff that was so minor. And I'm just saying, this Donald Trump avoiding, he's like the child that avoids and has no punishment for anything. Nothing, whatever. In his statement to the court, needless to say, he didn't even show up at court. Needless to say, he was not present at court. Oh, yeah. I mean, why would you think he'd be present at court, right? Setting the terrible example that he does. In his statement to the court, Trump maintained the point he had made throughout the prosecution that the whole case was a political witch hunt. Now, normally when defendants show no remorse, it affects their probation, something, right? But of course, for Trump, there was no punishment at all. He got the unconditional discharge. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? He continues, Trump, the fact is, I'm totally innocent, Trump said via video appearance in court. So he's sitting next to his attorney. And during a lot of these proceedings, many folks, including myself, talked about Trump's attorneys and talked about how they were doing things. And it's not that the attorneys did such a great job. It's that the Supreme Court just laid this thing out for Trump. So I still think that he could have had better representation, but I guess it doesn't matter if you have the Supreme Court in your back pocket. So Judge Merchan said that never before has this court been presented with such a unique and remarkable set of circumstances. Yeah. We're not giving Judge Merchan any medals or anything, maybe a participation trophy at best. So the sentencing brings this phase of the case to the end. So there are a lot of things that got us here, a lot of things. And we talk about the Jack Smith case, how Biden, first of all, his selection um, of the attorney general, that was a debacle. And the attorney general's hesitance with pushing forth the case. He wouldn't hesitate for nobody else. But maybe he would have. Right? I'm saying that, and then I got to catch myself. Maybe he would have. But Merrick Garland is definitely going to go down as one of the lesser effective attorney generals for this country. So anyway, this sentencing, if that's what you want to call it, brings this phase of the case to an end. Once the sentence is officially entered in a final judgment, Trump can then appeal the case, as he has the right to do so. And of course, he's going to do so because what else is he going to do? Oh, Trump's attorney, Todd Blanche, made clear during the sentencing that Trump intends to appeal. But Trump ultimately failed to block the sentencing, which is what he really wanted to do. Now, if you remember, on May the 30th, 2024, a New York County jury, a jury of his peers, found Trump guilty of 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. He does a lot of things that he's not supposed to do. Now, that constituted a Class E felony in the state of New York when the falsification is committed with the intent to defraud, as was the case here, commits another crime, or to aid or conceal the commission of another crime. Class E felonies carry a potential penalty of up to 4 years in prison and a fine of up to $5,000 for each count, unless you have the Supreme Court in your back pocket. Unless you have that. Now, I am pretty sure that if there is a Democrat down the line that does something that brings about charges, that the things that the Supreme Court have outlined, which make Donald Trump totally immune from everything, is not going to be the case for a Democrat. I'm pretty sure of that. But we'll cross that bridge if and when we get to it. So the trial courts reserve discretion, however, to impose a sentence that accounts for other factors, such as a defendant's criminal history. Judge Merchan, it's so interesting that they'll say things like, oh, we've never seen anything like this before. Therefore, you don't know what to do. Just use the laws that you have on the books. Doesn't matter if you've never seen this before. I hate when people say that. I've never seen this before. Doesn't matter. You have a workflow outline. You have a structure outline. You have guidelines here for a Class E felony, and they just threw that out the window. Boom, out the window, gone. Out the window. Now, of course, in recent court filings, Trump sought to get his guilty verdict thrown out, arguing that the U.S. Supreme Court's recent decision on presidential immunity, just for him, in criminal prosecutions meant that he can't be found guilty. Can't be found guilty. And what else is so interesting is that the government, the legislatures, legislators, they will always pick and choose when they want to do something. They'll say, this is the law. Then so we got to do that. Then they'll say, oh, this is a something that they've always said. This was an opinion. And then they'll just do that. There's no law that says this. These are all opinions. These are all opinions. To be clear, Trump was convicted of unlawful conduct that occurred before he was president. That's what I'm saying. This is the part that's so maddening. This is before he was president. How are you immune as president for stuff you did before you were president? Doesn't even make sense. Doesn't even make sense. And while it appears that the Supreme Court's July 1st ruling applies to both state and federal criminal prosecution, the court held there is no immunity for unofficial acts, which the falsification of business records undoubtedly is. Undoubtedly is. But nevertheless, on January the 3rd, 2025, Judge Merchan rejected Trump's argument regarding presidential immunity because the Supreme Court's immunity decision is not applicable in Trump's New York case. But it might as well be, because Judge Merchan, paper tiger, anybody else in his courtroom, I'm sure he's tough. Now he's a sucker. Now, on January the 9th, 2025, the New York's highest court declined to block Trump's sentencing. The U.S. Supreme Court's late in the same day denied Trump's emergency bid to halt the sentencing, and that is how we got here. Merchan has expressed little willingness to impose prison time for the president-elect. Okay, fine. And whether it's because Merchan folded like some of the social media sites have folded. We'll talk about that later in the show. Some of the social media sites have folded. Maybe he folded like a cheap chair. He says that it seems proper at this juncture to make known the court's inclination to not impose any sentence of incarceration. Right? Don't be mad at us. Yeah, and is he doing this because he's nervous, because he's scared, because he's been paid? Who knows? I don't know. Even if Merchan imposed prison time, many constitutional law scholars argue that Trump's sentence would at a minimum be deferred until after his next term in the Oval Office ended. I mean, it really has been interesting watching Donald Trump run the scam on the entire world. He's run a scam on the entire world, serving the public interest, not time. So, unconditional discharge sounds like something that you need to go to the clinic to clear up. Unconditional discharge. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Trump sentenced in this felony hush money case, released with no restrictions. Now, of course, he maintains that it should have never been brought. The thing about Trump and his supporters, they don't take the win. Sometimes you could just take the win. No, he won't take the win. He wants to continue on and on. Some people are like, whoa, thanks, got out of that. No, this one never should have happened in the first place, and that he wants to go, and he's going to keep going down this road. He's going to keep going down this road. So we're going to continue to hear about this. It's not over. It's not over. Sentenced to a penalty-free, unconditional discharge in this hush money case, and he's still acting like the victim. He's going to be president. He ran for office so he would not be incarcerated, and that's still not good enough. That is still not good enough. Talking about it's been a terrible experience, blah, blah, blah. Whoa, feel sorry for him. Now, he is still a convicted felon. He's the first U.S. president with a felony conviction. That's something we can hang on his orange head, right? He claims that it has done damage to his reputation. What? You won the election. Fam, take the win. The sentencing comes just 10 days before Trump is set to be sworn in as this country's 47th president. I didn't think it was going to happen, right? I did not think he was going to win the election. I did not think that he was going to win the election. Now, Trump, the ordinary citizen, Donald Trump, the criminal defendant, would not be entitled to such considerable protections. So it is what it is. Does that mean that he's going to not commit crimes? I don't think so. I think that folks are going to try to make a case that even if he commits crimes after he's out of office, he's somehow immune, right? Every dog has its day. And yeah, every dog has its day. So we're gonna see about that. Trump appearing remotely, decided not to go to New York. I mean, it's cold, it's snowing, or it's been snowing, so I get it, right? Trump, in remarks from his club in Florida after the Supreme Court ruling, alluded to possible further appeals. You know that he's going to appeal. This is not going to be over. This is going to continue. It's funny. He wants to be president, yet he takes to task attacking the jury system, the very jury system that protects him and makes him immune. Make it make sense. Wants to be the president, will be the president, attacks the justice system that protects him. Go figure. Go figure. He has disdain for the third branch of government, whether it's state or federal, in New York or elsewhere. It's a matter of public record. All you got, just look at the transcripts, the things that he says about this country's judicial system. And he's been the premier beneficiary of the system. Yet he acts like he doesn't like the system. Go figure. Go figure. Makes no sense to me at all. Let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok. TikTok for now. Blue Sky at the Diamond K Show. The case was one of 4 criminal cases that Trump faced at the beginning of 2024, and the only one that went to trial. The state case charging Trump interfered in the 2020 election in Georgia is paused as Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is challenging an appeals court order that removed her and her office from the case last month. Justice Department dropped 2 federal cases brought by special counsel Jack Smith after Trump won the election, citing the Office of Legal Counsel holding, not a law, but a holding that it can't prosecute a sitting president. We're going to, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Of course, we'll continue to follow this case. But like I said, this is not over because he's going to appeal the case. And he's going to continue to roll on. There's going to be other updates as it relates to this case. And Trump's going to try to get it wiped clean. Wipe it away. I did nothing wrong. Everybody's coming after me. I can't believe it. Oh, cut me some slack. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I hear you. Whatever.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe at youtube.com/DJ Diamond K.